WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. One of the largest embezzlement cases in the state of Mississippi currently is happening right here in the Friendly City. Former Chief Financial Officer Milton Rawle Jr. is accused of swindling $290,000 in a scheme that allegedly went on for 2 years. Our Stephanie Poole has the details and joins us now live in the studio.
That's right, Joey. City leaders had long suspected something was wrong with how the city's finances were being handled. That's why they hired a CPA. And then the state auditor got involved. Now Rawle is sitting in jail.
Mr. Rawle had a great deal of control, and he was able to leverage that control to steal a good bit of money.
Disbelief. That's how Mississippi State Auditor Shad White describes his office's case against Milton Rawle Jr. White says information from Columbus CPA Wanda Hawley helped them identify some of the accounting issues.
We took that information and what she brought to us, we built out an investigation, we did interviews, we were ultimately able to obtain all the documents that we needed and all the statements that we needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this public embezzlement happened.
December of 2016 and December 2018, Rawle allegedly stole the money by electronically transferring funds to his personal bank account. He used labels like payroll and reimbursement to cover his tracks. Columbus Mayor Robert Smith released a video statement shortly following Rawle's arrest.
Chief Operating Officer David Armstrong and I asked the State of Mississippi Auditor's Office and the Lowndes County District Attorney to conduct an investigation following the resignation of former Chief Financial Officer Milton Rawle Jr. The Columbus City Council fully supported this investigation. This is an ongoing criminal case, so no further information will be released at this time by the City of Columbus.
White says Rawle has 30 days to pay back $354,896.27.
We're hopeful that the bond will be able to pay out on Mr. Rawle, but the city, at least in part, will be made whole for some of the money that Mr. Rawle stole. And then ideally, he is prosecuted and the city and the state are able to go back in and get the full amount of money that Mr. Rawle is responsible for.
If convicted, Rawle faces up to 20 years in prison and $25,000 in fines. Rawle's bond is set today at $65,000.
One teen is arrested and another still on the run after a shooting outside the Wingate Hotel. 19-year-old Donquarius Stewart is charged with aggravated assault. The shooting happened back on July 15th. Now, this is video from the night of the shooting. Columbus Police Chief Rick Shelton says someone had rented a room at the Wingate Hotel. An argument that started inside moved outdoors. When gunfire rang out, 2 people were injured in that shooting. Columbus Police say they're still searching for 17-year-old Jeremiah Radcliffe. Radcliffe does have a warrant out for his arrest on aggravated assault. Anyone with information is asked to call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. A former Starkville police officer will spend 7 years in prison for sending inappropriate photographs and videos to a juvenile. Charles Jordan was sentenced this morning. Last month, a jury found him guilty of 5 felony counts of exploiting a child. The judge sentenced him to 12 years with 5 suspended. In addition to presenting evidence during the trial, prosecutors also used testimony from the victim in the case.
We did have to bring the victim in to testify. It's always hard when victims who are under when crime was committed under the age of 18, but it's always difficult for any victim to testify at trial. She did testify at trial. There were 12 jurors who heard the testimony and all the evidence that was presented, and based on that, they found him guilty.
Jordan will be on probation for 5 years after he is released and will have to register as a sex offender. Tupelo police are looking for a man accused of an afternoon robbery. Officers went to Little's Jewelry after getting a call that a man allegedly pulled a clerk across the counter and pulled a watch from the clerk's hand, then ran off. The clerk was not hurt. Police are looking for this man wearing a red hat and red shorts. If you have any information, you're asked to call Tupelo Police or Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen.
Right now, weather-wise, things are doing okay in most spots across our region. We've got a good amount of sunshine, warm temperatures. Now, some of you are actually getting a pretty good downpour right now. We have a few showers and thunder showers across our region on our Tuesday afternoon, stretching from Tishomingo County all the way down towards Winona. This is along a little bit of a frontal boundary that's moving on through. We don't really expect a lot of widespread activity, but some of you getting some localized downpours right now. But as we mentioned, it's pretty warm right now. As we go into the evening hours, temperatures will be cooling down into the mid to upper 80s after 7 o'clock. Mid-70s by 11, lows tonight down into the 60s. Tomorrow, a little bit cooler than today, upper 80s with a few more spotty showers and storms possible. Your full 7-day forecast coming up.
Raising taxes. 2 words no one wants to hear, but it could soon be a reality for Starkville residents. Happening right now, city leaders are holding a public hearing to discuss potentially increasing taxes by 2 mills. Our Quentin Smith speaks with city leaders about this decision. He joins us now live from Starkville to explain the reason for the possible.
This is a key topic of discussion during today's board meeting inside City Hall. The city of Starkville is looking at a roughly $1.1 million shortfall in sales tax revenue due to the pandemic. Those city leaders don't want to raise anyone's taxes. They say this is the only way to help the town stay afloat.
When it comes to the economic picture in Starkville, Mayor Lynn Spruill says it's not a pretty one. That's why she and the Board of Aldermen are now considering a 2 millage tax increase. The first mill is for a grant to help spruce up Highway 182.
1 mill is to support the build grant, which we received last year. And we knew at the time we agreed to accept the build grant, that we went after the build grant, that we would need a mill in order to support our portion of that particular expenditure in that grant.
The second mill is to help the city recover from low sales tax numbers due to the coronavirus crisis.
We are anticipating about a 12.5%, 13% drop, and that translates to anywhere between $880,000 or so and $1.1 million, depending on how good or bad it gets.
Millage is a tax rate used to calculate tax property.
1 mill in layperson's terms translates into about $206,000.
That boils down to a roughly $20 a year increase for a Starkville homeowner. That, according to Mayor Lynn Spruill. Vice Mayor Roy A. Perkins says he typically votes against a tax increase. However, given what the city is now faced with, he says he has no other choice.
We need a $3 million match on this federal grant for improving the 182, and the pandemic has caused us to lose at least almost $200,000 in sales tax revenue for the first 6 months of the year. And given all that totality of that information, the 2 mill tax increase is warranted.
Now tonight is the first of 2 public hearings. The second one will take place on September 1st. That's the day when the board is also set to make a vote on whether to increase the tax revenue around town. That's the very latest from here in Starkville. Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
The number of COVID-19 patients in ICU is decreasing in Mississippi. The Mississippi State Department of Health reports 795 new cases today, along with 34 deaths. 4 of those fatalities were in Lowndes County. There are 284 people in ICU, which is down significantly from last week. Lee County has the most new cases today with 43. Octomahawk has 22. Lowndes and Etowamba have 13 new cases. With flu season rapidly approaching and COVID-19 still a big concern, we'll now face 2 serious, potentially deadly illnesses. WCBI's Bobby Martinez talks with a doctor about ways to keep your health, and Bobby joins us now live in the studio.
Joey, the coronavirus has posed several challenges for health officials in recent months. And with the flu season just around the corner, getting a flu shot this year is highly recommended. A twindemic.
You don't want to have the flu, and you certainly don't want to have the flu and COVID-19 simultaneously.
Can become a reality within the coming months. And Dr. James Woodard of Allegro Family Clinic says people need to keep doing what health experts have been preaching since the coronavirus pandemic began.
Well, I think that the main thing is to continue doing what we've been doing as far as wearing masks, the social distancing, and then hand washing. I think those are pretty uniform for both illnesses.
Dr. Woodard is also suggesting flu shots because, as we know each year, we have a different flu strain.
You have to remember that the influenza virus, which is the one that causes flu, mutates or changes very rapidly, and that's why we have a different shot every year.
But with COVID-19 in full bloom, will there be a change in how you get a flu shot?
The flu shot availability is probably going to be the same as it has been. You know, a lot of pharmacies, drugstores, certainly offices, hospitals. The hospital has a big Saturday, usually in October, when they administer a lot of flu vaccines. So I think that should be the same.
And if you would like to learn more about the flu, I have the information on our website at WCBI.com.
Volunteer firefighters in a Monroe County community will soon have a new place to park their fire engines and call their department home. We have the story coming up after the break. You're watching WCBI News.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. An enhanced federal unemployment benefit will be one of the first items on the agenda when Democrats and Republicans return to Washington, D.C. in September. Extending the enhanced federal unemployment benefits was one of several sticking points as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle were debating a second stimulus package. Republicans have offered $400 per week in benefits, while Democrats called for $600 per week. Both sides said compromise is possible in return for aid to the Postal Service. Still, Mississippi Congressman Trent Kelly says there are still many things that need to be worked out.
I think it's real telling when the Speaker of the House goes, well, we won't even talk if they don't go to $2 trillion. Well, that means that you're not worried about anything underneath. I mean, Senator McConnell will want to do a skinny package. I'm fine with that. But I would say do the things that we can agree on to help the American people.
There have been reports that the House could return during the week of August 24th to hold hearings about financial issues plaguing the U.S. Postal Service. Construction begins on a new Hamilton Volunteer Fire Department building. The original facility was destroyed in last year's tornado that devastated the entire community. Crew members tell WCBI they were out before sunrise this morning pouring the concrete that will soon be the foundation for a new VFD headquarters. Fire Chief Raymond Oliver says the entire rebuilding process has been bittersweet.
That building was built by a lot of guys here in the community, and most of them are done passed and gone on, and there's still one or two still around that help with the building. I'm hoping by 30 days from now that I got a red and white building standing up.
Over half of the funding for the new structure came from FEMA, with insurance and donations from the community making up the rest. Well, thankfully no severe weather around here today, but we do have a few showers out there.
Yeah, no storms, maybe a few thunder showers, but nothing like what we had back in the springtime for sure. A little downpour north of Vardaman right now, a few other blips on radar. We'll have a radar check, a complete radar check, and that full 7-day forecast next.
Your WCBI First Alert Accuweather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Now, I love a good dry heat. You may have heard about this recent heat wave in Death Valley, California. Look at the last 4 days. 124, 126, Sunday 130, yesterday 127. That 130 could be the hottest surface temperature that's ever been accurately measured on the planet Earth, if you can believe it. 130 degrees, that was Sunday, but it's still pretty warm out there. Let's put things into perspective. Hot there, warm here, not as bad. Vernon, tomorrow we start out in the upper 60s. That's a cold, massive air relative to Death Valley, but upper 80s to around 90 will do it here for you. And we'll have a chance for some of those spotty showers and storms once again. A live view in Vernon right now at Durham's Pharmacy, 92 degrees, is looking very pleasant here in your neck of the woods right now, although we do have some downpours out there. Looking north of downtown Louisville, Mississippi, we see some clouds on the horizon. With some of those clouds, we do have some showers, but still fair weather in the friendly city of Columbus. We may have a pretty nice sunset. Tupelo, you've had some rain around and still some clouds out there, 89 degrees with a little bit of a breeze. Here's that radar tour in Tishomingo County right here. We have some downpours. And then back to the southwest we go. One falling apart near Shannon and Okolona. There's that downpour southwest of Pontotoc, northwest of Houston. We showed you that going to break, and a few other blips on radar. perking on up and then collapsing here. So not really a lot of moisture or energy to have sustained showers or storms. There's a little bit of a cold front, if you can call it that, that's sparking this activity, and this rain goes away this evening. Here's futurecast. You can see that going away tomorrow morning. Pretty quiet when we wake up, although there could be some low clouds around. We'll just call it variably cloudy. We will likely see a few more scattered, spotty, isolated showers and storms tomorrow afternoon, and a little bit more coverage here as we get into your Thursday. So that's the way it's looking for the next 2 days. There's an area of disturbed weather in the Caribbean, one out here in the open Atlantic, a high chance for some development. The second one out here could be the one to watch for the southeast and the Gulf. We'll see. This first one may go more towards Mexico, but suffice to say, it's the peak season, or we're getting close to the peak season for the tropics and the Atlantic, and anything out there has to be watched. For us, that second one, if nothing else, could throw some moisture our way by early next week. We'll just wait and see. About a long time to wait for it. Our forecast for tonight, 60s. We're looking at mid and upper 80s across our region tomorrow. So there you have it. There could be a shower or storm around. We're going to go with about a 20 to 30% opportunity for some rain. Higher odds Thursday, Friday, 50% highs in the upper 80s. We'll lower those rain chances going into the weekend. And at this point, outside of those tropics, it looks like it could be pretty warm to start next week.
All right, thanks, Keith. Only a few stops remain on the high school football tour. Catch the preview with Tupelo next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
There's a new Golden Wave era on the horizon. First year Tupelo head coach Ty Harden has brought a new culture with him from Houston. Tupelo is stop number 58 on the high school football tour.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour is brought to you by Itawamba Community College, Cannon Ford of Starkville, Monroe County Farm Bureau, Max South Broadband, and the Bank of Vernon.
A new era is underway in Tupelo. Former Houston head coach Ty Harden takes over as the new man in charge of the Golden Wave. While the offseason has been more challenging than usual, that hasn't stopped Harden from getting his new players up to speed.
It's been smoother than I thought. You know, I sat back at the beginning of it. It was like, man, there's a lot to do. But I mean, the kids have their approach to everything has made everything a lot easier, and I'm just blessed to be where I am today.
Family man. You can treat him like a dad. He loves everybody. He treats all of us like his kids.
He's definitely brought the energy for sure, and I think he's brought a new culture to our program, and I think it's definitely going to help us out going forward.
However, going from Houston to taking over the Tupelo program has challenges, such as making the division switch from 3A to 6A ball. A whole new set of opponents are on the horizon, but Harden says he knows the direction to take the Golden Wave in.
The table's laid. You know, the foundation's been laid from, you know, Coach Hammond, the previous staff, and the coaching staff that I have. I've got 9 guys that are basically head coaches on this team, and they take care of a lot of different things, and they're special, and they've made this transition and everything great.
Tupelo enters the 2020 season in a good position. The Golden Wave returns starting quarterback Jake Ware for another season. In 2019, Ware threw for over 2,200 yards and 20 touchdowns. Combine that with a strong defensive line, and Tupelo has the makings for a potential 10th consecutive playoff appearance.
Strengths are all over. I feel good about our depth. I feel good about every skill position, but I feel really good about our quarterback, him being the leader. I think he's the best quarterback in the state. I feel good about our D-line. I think it's one of the best D-lines in the state. And when you got, you know, two groups like that, you got a chance to win a lot of football games.
Definitely been trying to improve on our leadership because you can never do too much on that. I think that's definitely an important aspect when playing quarterback. You just got to rally the troops together and lead.
It's a different feeling. Past couple of years, we ain't really been clicking, really been buddy-buddy. But this year, we're all focused on one goal.
A tough road lies ahead for the Golden Wave with even tougher competition, such as defending 6A champs Oxford. For Tupelo, preparedness is crucial week after week.
Stepping into a division that you got coaching staffs that are some of the highest IQ coaching staffs in the state. I mean, they're great. Their kids play hard. Their kids are ready every Friday night. Anybody can beat anybody on Friday night, and you know, we've got to come prepared every week. Our kids got to work their tails off every week, and our coaching staff's got to be prepared every week, or we won't last long in this division.
On all the way, no doubt. It's a family effort. We all pushing for one goal.
We want to set a big-time tone. I mean, we want to blow them out, throw 50 points on the board, and we're going to make a statement.
Tupelo starts the season on the road at Neshoba Central on September 4th. Reporting with the Golden Wave on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour with Tupelo High School is brought to you by Todd's Big Star of Tupelo and Saltillo, the best meat in town, BNA Bank, Midway Marine of Fulton, Zip Scripts Pharmacy of Tupelo, and Express Care West Medical Clinic.
That's it for sports. Your last look is when we come back. Stay with us.
A few downpours out there, some cloud cover as well, but overall not a lot of moisture for this evening. We may see a few storms or showers tomorrow. I think better odds Thursday, Friday. The weekend's looking fairly decent at this point. Just summer weather around here, Joey.
That is a good-looking weekend in 80s. You can't beat it.
Not the triple digits.
Exactly.
Always a bonus.
Always. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.